It's time to talk Aggie football with the interim head coach of the Aggies, Nate Dreiling, on your exclusive home of Aggie football, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Utah State. You'll hear the game Saturday right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. And joining us now, he is the head coach of the Aggies, Nate Dreiling. Coach, how are you?
Hey, Coach.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Always good to catch up. I know that it's the million-dollar question. You probably can't go to a grocery store with somebody not asking you, how's your quarterback situation looking like? So with that, how's your quarterback situation looking like going into Saturday?
It's looking like Utah's. Look at us in the same boat. So we are both probably going to have the same answer, work through it, and we'll know more when the time comes around. So I think both guys are, at least with Spencer, getting really close to playing and has been practicing, and Bryson obviously keeps getting more and more comfortable with the offense. So time will tell, and we will announce that right before we run out after the kickoff.
So, Coach, is there any advantage to having Bryson Barnes be your starting quarterback where he's practiced and played against so many of these guys for so many years, or does it even out where they know his tendencies as well?
I think you're spot on. I think it's pretty even, right? Obviously, he's been in the system forever, but at the same time, they know what he does great and know what maybe that he struggles with. So probably a wash on that. Either way, it comes down to how our quarterback plays in our offense, right? And so we got to make sure that we have an unbelievable game plan for those guys to distribute the ball where they need to and be able to move the ball versus incredible Utah defense as you guys seen for years.
Speaking of Bryson Barnes, we saw him in game one with an incredible run or two that really broke that game open. Against USC, we didn't see him really get out and run. How much, in the perfect world, how much would you like to use Bryson Barnes in the run game, Coach? Outside of a unplanned scramble, how much would you like to see him used in the run game?
Well, I think with that SC game, with Spencer not being available, we were going to do what we could to protect Bryson. We didn't want to get to our next quarterback on the list quite yet. So that's why it was a little more conservative. Ultimately, I think it's always hard when you have to prepare for QB run game. It changes how you play defenses, right? Now you can't just have a post. You have to have an extra quarterback player. So if we can get, 5 to 10 runs, but ultimately it's not really how much you're running, it's how much he's getting tackled. So not counting runs, but how many times is this guy getting hit, or is he sliding, or is he running out of bounds? If that happens, you can just keep running him, right?
So you mentioned that USC offense was probably the best offense you've ever prepared for as a coach. Now, I know you're on the defensive side of the ball, but from Utah's perspective, from that defense, does that rank right up there with some of the better defenses you've ever seen?
Well, they're probably one of the best coached, if not the best coached team in the country. You just watch how their front seven play, especially their D linemen. Their hands are unbelievable. Obviously, they're huge size, and they're always so high in sack totals because it's always 3rd and 9, right? They do an unbelievable job of stopping the run. So we are going to have a very, very, very difficult task, but our guys are going to be up for it. I think we have an awesome game plan in check. O-line keep building off what they did last week, ran the ball well, and that needs to be a huge emphasis. If we can move the ball about running against Utah, right, then it's going to be 3rd and short, not 3rd and long. That's what we got to make sure we get into.
Well, Coach, I know that you talk about being in the right mindset, and I do know some of those offensive linemen, and I know that they don't fear it at all. They were excited about the USC challenge. I know they're chomping at the bit, excited about the Utah challenge. It does feel like you've got a front five on that offensive line that they're just chomping at the bit. They want the challenge.
I think there's no doubt. You look at the running backs. We had Razul averaged over 6 yards a carry, and Herschel averaged 4.8 yards a carry versus SC. We just got to make sure we continue to put those runs back to back to back, right? So we can continue to move the ball down the field. We'll have a much more aggressive game plan now with Bryson versus these guys, and making sure we don't limit our offense too much just because we're playing such an opponent with probably better players in a lot of spots. I guess I should probably say more depth. We got to make sure we stay to our identity and be aggressive. If they load the box up, we got to be able to hit our shots on the outside. That's what it's going to come down to, moving the ball. And if they want to load it up, or we got to win our one-on-one. So that's when you get Jalen and Brock and Kelreese, all those guys. It's going to have huge matchups for them.
Brock Lane's healthy, at least as far as I know, healthy, and he struggled with injuries his first couple years. But having a healthy Brock Lane, what does that mean for this offense at Utah State?
Yeah, we got to make sure that that teams are afraid of him, right, and have to do certain things with him. We know Jalen's going to be double covered every single game, right? There's no doubt about that. So Kyrie stepped it up game one. We need someone to step it up game two, whether it's Kyrie again or Brock or Grant Page. We have to make sure that our second or third options are playing like ones. And if we can do that, then it's just going to be so hard to prepare for this offense.
Coach, talk a little bit about the pressures. I know that USC had a good offensive front, and I know that they attempted to throw the ball 41 times. And I don't know the amount of pressures that this defense was able to get. I know that it didn't register a sack, but talk a little bit about some of the pressures, the one-on-ones, and the hand battles that are going on your defensive side.
Yeah, well, I think that SC game plan, they were such a five-out type team. So we were more max drop, three-man rush versus them. I'm not saying we won't also do that versus Utah, but that was primarily the plan versus SC. So we knew generating pressure was going to be hard. We wanted a top-down mindset to make them, throw the check down, not the deep ball. And for the most part, that was okay. We just didn't do a good enough job in the run. We couldn't get them to third and long. It was third and short, which was a first down, as you guys saw.
Yep.
So, obviously, Utah, much like you, are going back and forth as to whether Cam Rising's going to be healthy. Is that kind of a pain in the butt for you guys to have to plan for two quarterbacks, or is it you just work on the system and whoever walks out there you'll be ready for?
Yeah, you do kind of have a mindset for both, right? And obviously, when Cam's back there, he's arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and most experienced. So that brings a whole nother element. But then you got the corner Canyon kid that's going to come in and runs a little bit better, and maybe hasn't been unbelievable his first two games. But you go back and watch his high school tape, it's like there's a reason this kid had every single offer in the country. So it could add a different game plan, almost like a Bryson Barnes game plan of Utah last year, right? So it's trying to figure all that out. Let me know when Kyle calls in right after me what he says on those quarterbacks. That'd be great info.
Yeah. We'll text you.
Yeah.
Right after. My guess is he'll give us as much leeway as you've given us, and just it'll probably be a walkout game day situation. So, Coach, I got to tell you, playing with a Y on my helmet up in that stadium years and years ago was really difficult. And I know that the rivalries haven't been rolling up there into Logan very often, but getting that University of Utah helmet, that team in Maverick Stadium on Merlin Olsen Field, and having it kind of a rivalry reunited. Number one, how much do you know about, or how much do you feel this in-state rivalry? And then number two, what do you expect from your fan base as Utah marches in there?
Isn't the atmosphere going to be crazy?
Should.
Obviously, this will be my second game at Maverick Stadium, but there's going to be people camping out for Thursday and Friday. I'm going up there Friday evening. They're camping out, so I'm passing out some food to all the fans that are making it overnight to make sure they get great seats. So it's the buzz of the town, and it's the buzz of the state. It's going to be an unbelievable atmosphere. Hopefully, there's not too much red, but obviously Utah is going to travel pretty good for an hour and a half road trip. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be one of the cooler atmospheres that the stadium maybe has ever seen. So hopefully we can get a product out there that's going to be proud and has a chance to win this game late.
Well, this is kind of, well, tell me how used to you are you to these rivalry games and kind of this level of history?
No, this will probably be the biggest one. When I was at Oregon hates SC and Oregon hates Washington, and that was obviously that's always that. But as far as a trip an hour and a half up the road, and realistically, every single one of my players, if they were offered by Utah at high school, they wouldn't be at Utah State. They'd be at Utah. So all these guys have a huge chip on their shoulder of, showing that this doesn't have to be the little brother school, right? We're here, and we're here to play great football and play tough football, just like the University of Utah always does. So there's going to be so much pride. I think we have so many Salt Lake players on this team that they're going to be amped up and ready to roll. And the challenge is obviously a great task, but our kids are fired up, and practice has been going good so far.
Can individual games like this have a impact on recruiting in-state?
Well, we are approaching 100 in-state recruits right now, so it is going to be just about every one that we're on right now is going to be here. So if we can pull this off right and get this win and show these players that, hey, you don't have to go to a Power 4 school to play great football and get developed both on and off the field. You can come to Utah State, which is an unbelievable family atmosphere in a college town, and have just as good a time with coaches that you trust, right? So that's been our whole motto and our whole pitch. And we just got to make sure that these recruits, when they show up, they see that and they love the product on the field and they love how the coaches are interacting with the players.
So, Coach, I'm just kind of looking at this conference that you're going to be gearing up and getting ready for. How much do you pay attention to conference play outside of what you're doing to try to prepare for every given week? Do you watch games? Do you see games? Do you hear the noise?
Well, it's hard to watch. Obviously, Saturdays you never know with game time how busy you are, but always following the conference very closely as far as scores. But that's one thing, as you guys I'm sure know, you pay attention to scores, that'll end up biting you in the back end because it comes down to matchups. It comes down to who's ready to play and who wants to be the tougher team that day. So I think the Mountain West, with Boise almost beating Oregon and all those schools. So it's a no small task. You have to be able to bring it every single day, and the best team will win, whoever wants to show up. So, but as we know, it doesn't matter about the opponent, right? Whether we're playing whoever, it's how we get better every single day, getting closer to our goal of playing unbelievable football and playing together as one unit.
So I'll fully admit that I am significantly older than you and obviously significantly older than any of the players on the team. So they probably handled it and you probably handled it way better than I did. But I pulled in my driveway Sunday morning at like 6:30 coming off that charter flight, and it's taken me a couple days to recover from that bad boy. Is there any hangover effect with you or the players after kind of that weird travel day?
Not so much time, more so the taste in your mouth, right?
Yeah.
If you coach and play long enough, eventually you're going to get your butt whooped on a game, and that's never fun. The big thing is that this team came back really pissed off and ready to get back to work and get back to playing our brand of football that we want to have, right? Which is tough, run the ball, stop the run, right? Being a very aggressive on offense. So they're ready to get that off their mind and get back out there and show the world one more time how we are going to play football and what our identity is going to be.
Coach, I wanted to talk to you past Petrus and past Bryson Barnes. What does the quarterback room look like past those two if it was needed?
Yeah, you got Conover, who transferred in, has been at a couple different schools, most recently from Arizona State. So he has a lot of experience as far as playing around college football. Has played a little bit. But we got 3 Power 5 starters in our quarterback room, so we do have a lot of depth. And after that, you got C.J. Tiller, who transferred in, who's a freshman, came in from Boise State as well. So those are kind of the 4 guys that we have that are getting reps. Obviously, the top guys are being much older and probably more groomed for the moment right now. The other guys are still learning and picking up and going to be ready when their opportunity comes. But it's a weird room. Not very often do you have a group with 3 Power 5 players and a Boise State transfer. So a lot of talent, right? We just got to make sure we get the right one out there and get the best game plan in front of them.
You, I'm sure you saw the Mountain West special on Ike Larson and mental health. You've been around this game for a long time. Is this something that's kind of new to you in coaching and realizing that it's not just about what's happening physically with your players, but also mentally as well?
I think it's first off, what an unbelievable job of that production team putting that story out there, and it's a phenomenal story. And no, to say it's new, I don't think so. I think the best part about it is players and people are more open to getting help because it is an actual problem, right? In the past, everyone just bottles everything in, and then you don't know how that's going to end out well, right? So we have an unbelievable support system in place here for players looking out for outreach to help. And I just love the fact that people are understanding like this is an illness, right? It's not nothing that's just wrong with you that can't be fixed, but if you don't treat it right, that's when you have problems. So stories like that, and you see all across media coming out this month, are such phenomenal help for getting the resources in place.
Coach, what is your ideal kick time on a Saturday?
Give me 12 p.m. kick. Saturdays, write this down, Saturday afternoons are for college football. 9 p.m., let's go. I mean, what are we doing? I want the fans excited, just getting woken up, and that way we're playing in the afternoon, and the kids get the rest of the day off to be with their families. The problem with 8 o'clock kicks, you have all these families coming in, the players don't ever get to see, right? So I think that's such an important piece because these guys are in the offices up here all the time. So let's get some more kickoff. I think we only got one or two more late ones, but other than that will be the afternoons. And the best part about it is with the Herd and Aggie Nation, they don't care. These guys are showing up regardless.
You know, noon gives you a little bit of time for your tailgaters to get a little liquid courage in them, get a little rowdy, and then you get the rest of your evening to watch more football and get ready. Coach, obviously, monumental task against Utah. Just real quickly, what are some of your keys? What do you need to see in this game?
First off, I'll start with defensive keys, right? We have to stop the run. We got to make sure, regardless of what quarterback is playing, if they're getting 6 yards to carry, it doesn't matter, right? Scotty G be back there and handing the ball off. It has no relevance. So you have to stop the run and then eliminate the explosive pass plays when they do come. If we do that, I think we're going to like our defensive game plan. Then offensively, it's pretty similar, right? It's establishing the run game so we're not in long-distance third downs, right? And it's getting to the balls to our playmaker on time, right? Still being able to take vertical shots. It's a huge task. The O-line is going to be challenged. You have to be able to run the ball, but at the same time, we have to be able to protect versus probably the best 4 D linemen in the Big 12. So if we can do that, then we're going to be right where we want to be at the end of the game.
I think that you're underrating.
I don't think
Scotty's
I can throw
ability.
like a skinny post or maybe a 15-yard out, but maybe a slant. You
can get a slant out there, huh?
Yeah, that's about it.
5 yard.
5 yard
yeah,
slant.
just keep it inside. Make it a quick slant and run it from the slot.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Make it a tight end.
Yeah. Maybe a tight end drag.
Unguarded.
Yes, please.
Yeah, that would
Coach, appreciate your time. We'll talk to you later tonight at the Coaches Show, but thanks for hopping on with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach.
You guys are awesome. Keep pressing Coach down there. Let me know what he says on my quarterback. Appreciate you guys.
You got it.
Good luck.
There you go. That is the head coach of the Utah State Aggies.